Great. Welcome to day 5. Cannot even believe it's day 5. I'm like, this has been a week for sure. And it's been so much good stuff. You guys have had so many great questions as we've been going. And so I'm just so excited to continue. So, the sixth step inside of the Soulful Abundance system is really what we're talking about today, and that is empower. And when we come back to the empower step, this is about taking our courage, stepping into our leadership role, and really making sure that we are not just double down on mindset, but really stepping into who is it that we're being in the world and making sure that we're not blocking our own success, right? So we're going to talk about 8 different obstacles that show up for all of us over time, right? You might resonate with one, you might resonate with a lot of them, doesn't really matter. The key is that we are clear on where are the obstacles showing up for us so that we can move through them, because if we're not aware of them, we can't move through them. And then what does it look like to actually be an empowered leader? What are some paradigms that you can embrace? So, paradigms are more than just affirmations. Paradigms are actually a way of being in the world, which means it's the way that we choose to show up. It's not just something that happens. It's like, okay, as an empowered leader, I'm going to take responsibility 100% of the time for my results. This is one of my favorite ones. I take responsibility 100% of the time, but without guilt and without blame, right? That's really important that, when I show up in the world, that I'm like, okay, it didn't go out the way that I wanted it to. Okay, but I'm not going to blame any about it. I'm not going to guilt myself about it either, but I'm going to take a look at what worked, what didn't work. What do I need to tweak? What do I need to shift? And that is what empowers you as a business owner and as a leader in the world to keep going. Because otherwise, if we're just blaming it on other people, then we become a victim, right? And if we're guilting ourselves about it, then we're actually not moving forward, we're actually moving backwards. So, we're going to talk about both of those pieces. And I also brought on a very special guest today, Miss Samantha Schmuck. I'm so glad she's here. She is part of our team, and she is an amazing coach. She was actually my success coach back in the day when she was working for Health Coach Institute and the creator of the life coaching program there. And I just feel so incredibly blessed to not only do retreats with Sam, we do them here in North Carolina at the Well of Mercy every spring, but to have her on my team to help our clients move through any obstacles or mindset blocks or pieces that are getting in their way. So, Samantha, thank you for being here today. I so
Yay.
appreciate
Yes, I'm so excited. And it's just so fun. Thinking back, this is almost 10 years ago now, which is super trippy.
I
But
know.
how far you have come in your career and in what you do, and just like the space that you hold to uplift other women to bring forward and share all the tools, all the wisdom that you learned in your journey. So let's chat about some obstacles because they happen in business and life.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I actually learned from Samantha, and that we teach our clients as well, is whenever we bump up against an obstacle, we can either try to find a way out or we can lean in, right? And when we lean in instead of running away from it, we can actually do something about it. When we run away from it or pretend that we don't see it, then we can't really change it. So, Samantha, I would love for you to share a little bit about, any wisdom that you want to share today with the way that we help our clients and activate, kind of move through, the obstacles that pop up and
Mhm.
and how you see that happening.
I love it. Well, I think the biggest thing is support. So many entrepreneurs, myself included, can feel very lonely, especially if you don't have a ton of other entrepreneur friends in your life or in your family. And so I think the first way that Activate Abundance is super helpful is you're just surrounded by people that want to see you win. They want to see you grow. They want to see you actualize this vision that's on your heart. So I think that's like always the foundation for when you're saying yes to being in a program like this is you're saying yes to being uplifted by a community that is super like-minded, like-souled, which is really beautiful.
Mm.
And the other thing is you're having a step-by-step path broken down for you. I don't know if anybody else, you can type like a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt this way, but a little shiny object syndrome, a little squirrel brain where it's like, oh my gosh, there's this new tool to build my business. I think this might be that like secret sauce that like just takes me from here to here. And what Chris does is she helps break down the foundation that you need in your business in such a simple way and really helps keep you focused on connection and nurturing your own community. And it's through that that you're going to create that like no trust factor, bring them in, not feel like you're pulling them across the finish line, but really just there in service. So I think that is the next thing, is she's giving you the full roadmap, breaking it down for you so you can implement it in your own business. And then you have me, Steph, Carrie, you got Copy. Like there's all these coaches within the program that you can tap in each month in addition to your live calls that you'll have with Chris in the group for one-on-one support to help you move through any tech issues, any time issues, for me, any mindset, energetic challenges that you're bumping up against. So there truly isn't an option to be in that mentality of like, I'm stuck. You can
Mhm.
stay stuck if you choose to stay stuck, but you have so much support around you that you really have to get real with yourself of, all right, what do I really got to look at here? I got to look at the person staring back at me in the mirror of how am I standing in my own way when I have literally all the support, all the pieces. I just have to start saying yes and taking the action to put them into place in a way that works for me, my message, and all the pieces that are a part of your life.
So good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's one thing that I think we really pride ourselves on as a team. First of all, we're all experts in our field and we all love the people that we get to serve and we are committed to everybody's success. So we're accessible, right? And that is something that not all programs give you is accessibility to either the creator, which is me, or to the, actual experts that are running it, right? It's not just like people who don't know what it is that they're doing. Every single expert that we have is running their own business right alongside you. And so they've got the experience. And that's really, really important because we know as entrepreneurs that we're going to bump up against things. And when you are working with somebody and you've got support from somebody who knows how to navigate those rapids and help you get through things quickly, that makes such a huge difference instead of, just having a conversation with somebody that doesn't really know or, hasn't created their own business at all before. And one of the reasons why I really love Samantha so much is because a lot of times we can get so much in our head because it's a lot of mental work, right? And we're like learning and we're watching and we're writing things down, and a lot of it happens up here. And in addition to Samantha's gift of being an amazing life coach and transformational coach, she also has created Vibe, which is a way to move things through our body, which is so, so powerful. So, Sam, will you share a little bit about how, the sessions, whether they're one-on-one or the group vibe sessions or any of that, like how that helps us move through the obstacles quicker?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what Vibe and Embodiment is doing is it is combining visualization, music, and intuitive movement. And so, it's creating that mind body connection to really take neuroplasticity to that next level. We're not just thinking the thought, feeling the thought, but we're bringing new action, new movement into our body. Because if anybody has heard this saying or expression in coaching, our beliefs create the evidence confirms the belief. And
Mhm.
so what that is doing is when we're having the thought, the visualization, and we're moving it in a new way in our body, we're creating new evidence and confirming and solidifying the empowered beliefs that we want that much faster. And the other way that I love to describe Vibe is, a lot of us, we're sitting here a lot of the day. We're learning, we're taking courses, we're here on these Zooms, we're typing and creating content for people, we're coaching, especially if you do most of your work virtually. If you're in person, sometimes you might be sitting in a chair listening to them, unless you are a body worker, always up and on it. But a lot of the times, for most of us, we are more sedentary than not. but we have all the emotions and all the energy coming in. So depending on your day, your stress levels, the information that you're intaking and where it's sending your energy, you might be having all of this energy happen and move through you throughout the day, the fear, the doubt, the questioning, the this, but your body is sitting like this. That energy has to go somewhere. We've got to move it. We can't just like think our way out of that. Manic panic is like how I like to describe it. And so we have to let our body move to move that stuck energy, those limited beliefs, those old stories of who we used to see ourselves as. We got to move them out. Otherwise, our body really holds the memory and the imprint of the limited beliefs. And when we try to step forward and expand, our body's like, hey, wait, I remember we like it back here. And so there's
Mm.
that boomerang self-sabotage effect to keep us where we know it's safe, even if it's uncomfortable and we want to go over here. So those are kind of the two ways that I love to describe Vibe and how it's really helping you create that internal transformation, but in a really fun way where you don't have to think your way out of it.
Mhm. Yeah, so good. So good. And it's so fun, by the way.
And
Every
this
time I do
one,
it, I'm like, why don't I do this every day? This is so much fun.
my favorite is when I have one-on-one experiences with individuals inside of Activate, and they come in, and let me tell you, they are stressed, they're doubt, they're like, I want to do this thing, but my family doesn't see me in this way, and this and this. And then by the end of it, their energy is just like completely shifted. And I'm like, all right, what's the one action you're going to take immediately after this call? Because we have to get into that right energy first. We can say we want to, go live and do all these things. But if internally we are freaking out, it's really difficult to show up with confidence and to claim, hey, this is who I am, and here's how I can help, and here's how I want to serve and support you, when internally we are literally shrinking into ourselves. So it's super cool
Yeah,
to see just even in 30 minutes how that can transform like the energy you're operating in.
so good. It's so good. Yeah. And we get to move that out. There's another saying that the issues are in your tissues, right?
Yeah.
I think that any somatic practitioners, I know when I went through yoga training years ago, it was like, your issues are in your tissues. I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting?
I love that.
Yeah. So, Sam, anything that I would love for you to just kind of share, maybe one example of how somebody might have been stuck and then they've been able to move through it and come out on the other side because,
Mm.
fear was getting in the way. But, by having the support that they needed, they were actually able to bust through that block.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of our students, Kate, she came in and she was creating a really exceptional app, but was really getting in her own way about publishing the next piece of it. And so she came in and we got super curious of like, what are the limited beliefs? What are the emotions coming up with that? Where is that living in your body? And you could just see she was so heavy. She was angsty, like just like couldn't sit still, but was trying, kind of crawling out of her skin when she was picturing publishing this, right? So it's really letting ourselves drop into where do we want to go, and then what is the baggage, the ish that's coming
Mhm.
up, that's kind of taking our focus away from where we're going and just like engulfing us and
Mhm.
keeping us cemented in where we are. And then so we had a 30-minute call, and I believe afterwards she went and published it because it was already done. She just had to publish it. And
Mhm.
so she published it, sent an email out to her list, letting them know. And I think by the time I checked in with her the following week, she had a couple people already signing up for it that she reached out to. So
Yeah.
and that's where those moments come up every day, every week in our business. Like we have to make invitations every
Mhm.
day. And
Mhm.
so if we are getting stuck in our mind and in those limited beliefs, we're just slowing down our pace. It's like trying to press the gas pedal, but hitting the brake at the same time. Like it's like
Mhm.
you might be moving forward, but dang, are you taking a lot of additional effort
Yeah.
to keep it moving forward? So that was
Yeah.
one story that came to mind right away where it was so
Yeah.
cool, where it was like instant action, did the
Yes.
thing.
I just spoke with Kate this morning, and she's writing a book. She's now speaking. She is submitting articles. Like, yeah, she's like so taking action and moving in such an amazing direction. So she is no longer
Yay.
No
And
longer.
stepping into the visibility, which was a huge part
Mhm.
of her visualizations throughout it, of like, it's okay for me to finally step into this and claim this. So the fact that
Yeah,
she's speaking and publishing articles is
I know,
heart
right?
so happy.
So fun. So, the reason why I wanted Samantha to come on and, to share about this is because strategy is a component of it, and mindset and beliefs are another component of it, right? As we, talked about on day one, the inner game, which is the mindset, our beliefs, plus the energy that we're in, always comes first, plus the strategy. So, that's why Activate is such a powerful program. And it's because we incorporate both. I'm not just saying, hey, take this strategy and do it and then leave you there. Because if you're not taking the strategy, there's a reason, right? If we're not implementing the actions, we're not going to get the results. But there's a reason why we're not implementing the actions. And so we have a team here, whether it's through Samantha and you can book a call with her privately one-on-one, or with monthly mindset calls, or with a guest expert that comes in. My personal mindset coach, Liz Nicholas, who comes in every quarter to do mindset specifically. Those are important pieces. And so, there's not many programs out there that really infuse both mindset with strategy, and that is something that we're all committed to, and that is a huge piece for moving you forward. Because, and I just want to reaffirm that mindset might seem a really teeny piece, but it's actually the 80%.
Hmm.
It's the 80% that is going to keep you going, that's going to keep you empowered, that's going to keep you moving forward even when you're bumping up against something that feels uncomfortable.
100%.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. So
Yay, thank
you.
you.
All right, let me share my screen with you guys because we are going to be continuing with our empowered leader paradigms. And let's see, here we go. So, empowered leadership paradigms. And again, empowered leader paradigms are paradigms, ways of being. And I really, really love these because when we take these on and if we commit to them and say, yeah, I am, and notice that anything that comes after I am is in the now, right? Our brain doesn't see it as, oh, yeah, it might be. When we say anything around I am, that actually comes to fruition. It becomes our reality. So number one is I am 100% responsible 100% of the time without guilt or blame. And that really is, of course, we're not responsible for other people's actions. We're responsible for our actions. We're responsible for our results. And it really needs to be 100% of the time, because if it's not 100% of the time, then that means that somebody else has the power over us, right? And I'm not willing as an empowered leader to give somebody else the power over me. I get to take 100% responsibility. And when I claim 100% responsibility 100% of the time, then that means that I'm in control. That means that the actions that I take are going to allow me to create the results that I want. And I know that I don't have to also put blame or guilt on myself or anybody else for a reason why something didn't work. But remember, if you're not taking 100% responsibility, then that means that you are giving your power to something else. And it could be a person, it could be a circumstance, it even could be a belief for the reason why you're not doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? And so this is really important. This is why it's number one. When we do this, we take back our power and we are no longer a victim to a circumstance, a person, or a situation. Number two, sacred self-care is the foundation of a sustainable practice. Really important. Like, we are creating our businesses, but we are making sure that our life gets scheduled in first and the business pieces go around that. And so one of the things that we want to help you with is to create a freedom calendar so that you're really, really clear on what is your energetic capacity. How many hours do you want work a week? What is the capacity for you to take on clients? Do you have sacred self-care time planned out for you? Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? Because otherwise, burning yourself out, it means that you do not have a sustainable practice. Okay, so we get to make sacred self-care. That is the foundation of a sustainable practice. And we're going to help you figure that out too. Number three, leaders source their experiences and invest in business growth and mentorship. There's not one successful anybody out in the world that does it on their own. I really don't even believe in self-made millionaires. We all have mentors. I've got three coaches, by the way. So, and I will always have a coach. And that is because I need mentorship. When I'm in the bottle, I can't read the label. So no matter where I am, I know that investing in my mentorship and having people around me that support me is going to be really, really important. And so that is what leaders do. Leaders source their experiences. What does that mean? It means that they look for ways to create the experience that they want. They're not victims, right? We're a no for the victimhood, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to say, no, how can I? How can I source this? If I want it, how could this go? Number 4, leaders choose abundance even when others choose scarcity. Here's the thing, y'all. There are going to be people in your life that are going to tell you that you can't do it. They're going to be those dream snatchers and those vision killers that are going to tell you, that we saw on day one that are like, nope, you can't do this. Leaders, empowered leaders say, yep, and watch me, right? Watch me. Tell me something I can't do. Watch me. I'm going to do it. That means that we get to choose abundance, even if other people's choose scarcity. Okay. Anybody can have their own opinion. They can have their own thoughts. They can choose scarcity. They can tell you it's not possible, but it's up to you as the leader to say, nope, this is totally possible and I'm choosing abundance, regardless of what anybody else believes is happening out there. Number 5, leaders know their most dominant thoughts create the results. Therefore, they take daily action to align with what they most desire to receive. This is part of our daily alignment practice. Whether you feel that you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So, what are your most dominant thoughts that you're putting on repeat 51% of the time? Notice that this is your most dominant thoughts. This is not about perfection. This is about what are you thinking about and focusing on 51% of the time. And if you want to know what you're thinking or focusing on 51% of the time, you just look at the results that you have in your life or your business right now. If you are not having clients or if you are really in scarcity, chances are your thoughts have been focused on the lack or the scarcity, whether it's the lack of the clients, the lack of the money, the lack of whatever it is, because that becomes the result, right? Just like Samantha said earlier, we have this reticular activating system in our brain where our beliefs create a result, and then the result comes back to support the beliefs, right? So it is very, very true that whatever it is that we have right now has been created from our beliefs. And so if we want something different, we need to change our belief, right? We need to change the thoughts so that we can then feel differently about taking the action that's required to get the result. Okay. Number 6, leaders take action and allow themselves to take risks and course correct as needed. What if there's no failure? What if you couldn't fail? What if you couldn't fail? Then you probably would be making a lot more decisions quicker, right? Getting information from those actions and then course correcting. And the truth is, the people that are the most successful out there don't necessarily have more knowledge or more smarts or, magic fairy dust in their veins for sure. They're just making a lot more decisions and they're making those decisions quicker. And here's what happens when you make a decision. You make a decision, you take the action, you look at the result. Is this something I want to continue or do I need to tweak or course correct? They take another decision from there. Do I want to continue or do I need to course correct? That is based on action. We cannot get the information and the feedback unless we take the action. So when you allow yourself to just make a decision and take action, you're always going to win because you're going to learn. You're going to be like, is that the door I should go through? I don't know. Let me try. Yep, that's the door I should go through. And then what about the next one? So any action that you take is actually going to be the antidote to whether you're doubting if something is going to work or not. And the opposite of that is overthinking it, right? Stressing, I don't know, but what if this happens? But what if this happens? But what if this happens? And then we start hemming and hawing and worrying, and we create future problems that don't exist. Instead, let's make a decision, take the action, look at the results, and see, great, now where do I want to do with this information? It's only feedback. And so I really believe that there is no failure. There is only feedback. Number 7, leaders trust themselves and commit first without knowing all of the hows. Leaders really do that. They commit first. They say, yep, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make it happen. I'm not sure exactly from A to Z, all of the nitty gritty and exactly the way that it's going to happen, but I'm going to commit first. That's the only way results happen. You can't think about getting on a bike. You can't watch a movie in order to learn to ride a bike. You can't watch somebody else ride a bike. You've got to get your butt on the bike and you got to say, yep, I'm going to learn how to ride this bike. You have to commit first, right? And then the how opens up with that. It's the same thing for business, right? You get on a bike, you start pedaling, you start learning how to balance, right? You fall over, you get back on the bike, but you're committed to actually making it happen. And with that commitment, God, the universe, spirit, whatever name you want to call it, meets you with the opportunities and the doorways to walk through so the how arises. So I just want you to know that if you're like, yeah, but I don't know all the hows, nobody does. And I guarantee that you actually don't want to know all the hows right now where you are because it will change. It will change, right? God laughs at our best made plans, right? We're like, okay, it needs to happen exactly this way, right? Chances are it's not going to happen exactly this way because you're going to walk through a door and you're going to learn something and you're going to decide and you're going to make another action. But you trust yourself and make the commitment because that's the only way that it's going to happen. Okay. This is the difference between being committed or being curious. Results don't happen if you're curious. Businesses don't be are not made by just being curious. I don't know if you guys remember the story of Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx, right? She's one of the most highest paid women in the world now. And she started her business with $1,500. And she was basically selling from door to door, selling printers. She committed with her idea and made it happen. And the way that she committed was she showed up. She took action. She didn't know all the how. She didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but she made that commitment first when she started the company Spanx. And now it's grown into $1 billion company. It's pretty incredible. Okay. Number 8, leaders do what they need to do with integrity and they live authentically. And I think that all of you here, can resonate with that. We get to do what we get to build our business with integrity. We get to show up authentically. We don't need to do anything that feels out of alignment. Number 9, leaders make lots of powerful, decisive choices. We talked about that earlier. They build resilience and they stay focused on the positive. So important that we stay focused on the positive, that we stay focused on what it is that we desire with joyful expectation. When you stay focused on the positive, your brain will start looking for evidence to bring that to you. When we're focused on the negative, what's not working, what's going wrong, why is this happening, blah, 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 whatever it is, that's negative, right? That actually creates more of that and it creates more evidence for things going wrong. Okay. So we get to build resilience. We get to stay focused on the positive. And another way that I like to think of this is, there's a lot of talk out there about building your business and being in the flow. Well, being in the flow doesn't mean that you're not ever going to come up against the rapids in the river. Okay, if we're thinking about currency and water, it's not calm all the time, but being in the flow just means that you're building resilience and you are not bumping up, you're not staying in that resistance. Instead, you're building resilience to continue to flow down that river and you continue to stay focused on where it is that you're going, not what's happened in the past, right? If we keep looking in the rearview mirror, that's where we're headed. We need to stay focused on the positive. And one of my best things that I do for myself is onward. Doesn't matter what's happening, onward. We're going, right? We're going forward. There is no back door. And so I'm going to tell each and every one of you that when you work with me, the back door is closed. There is no back door. There is no sneaking out. There is no trying to quit. We're going forward. For the year that you're with me, we're going forward and we've got you. So number 10, leaders are focused on solutions, not problems. There is no failure, only feedback, right? You're either winning or learning. So when I say there is a difference between a solution versus a problem, we can stay focused on the solution of, I don't have any clients. I don't have any clients. I'm not making any money in my business. Or we can ask ourselves, all right, what's the solution? How can I find more clients? What is another way that I can make money in my business? One way is negative and focused on scarcity and focused on the problem. The other way is let's talk about a solution. Okay, so that is something that we do inside of Activate as well. We don't stay focused on problems. We're like, all right, let's look for a solution. What's the opportunity in this? And what's the solution that we can come up with? Number 11, leaders build relationships. They seek out others with wisdom. They collaborate to create win-wins for everyone, and they get in the room. This is one of the most incredible things when you're in community that I love about our clients and our community is they collaborate with each other. They get in the room. They invite each other into each other's Facebook lives. They support each other by sharing each other's master classes. They show up and cheer each other on. They come in each other's Facebook groups. They get in the room. They actively participate in being part of a community, and that creates wins for everybody. It creates wins for them, and it creates wins for the people that they're serving and they're sharing the information with. And then number 12, leaders are impact driven and give generously. They lead with service first, right? We get to lead with service. We get to lead from our heart. The more value we put out in the world, the more it comes back to us. And I really do believe that's true. The energy of generosity has served me so well over the years that that really is part of my business plan. It's part of my way of being. That when I lead with value, when I am impact driven, when I give generously, when I lead with service, that always comes back to me. It may not come back to me through the front door that I'm thinking it is, but it always comes back to me. Always. So these are ways of being. And I just want you guys to take a look at these. If you've got your workbook, great. Which one of these do you feel you most resonate with? And which one of these do you feel like you've got the most work to do? And I'm going to stop the share for just a minute. Which one do you most resonate with? And which one do you feel like you've got the most work to do? You can pop it in the chat or you can go ahead and come off mute. Close the back door. Yes. Yes. Onward. We're going to be solution focused. Yeah. Looking ahead is very difficult. Yeah, it can be, but it only just takes training of our brain, right? Sometimes we're used to looking behind so much that it's just a natural neural pathway. And so we have to change our mind, change the intention, and change our focus. So that's really all it is. Think of it like a radio station, Sean, right? It's kind of like I don't know about you guys, but heavy metal for me is not my jam. So it's like if I have the radio station tuned to heavy metal and I just keep complaining that it's tuned to heavy metal instead of changing it to, indie pop rock or something, which is what I like more of, then, that's the difference. It's just changing the tuner, right? It's making the decision that, nope, I don't like this. And I'm going to change the tuner instead. Yeah, trusting yourself is a journey for sure. Yeah, trust for sure. Yes, absolutely. And without that self-trust, right, we're giving our power away to something else, an event, a circumstance, a person, right?
I think
Um, yeah,
I
go
think
ahead, Kate.
I think it's really important that we stay focused on the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And also I also felt really led to building relationships and collaborating with others of wisdom to create a
Mm-hmm.
community. I really love both of those.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference when you see any event that's happening in your life, as there's always going to be a solution. And as a matter of fact, I mean, I believe in this so much that I actually have a card that I keep on my desk and it says, "What's the gift? How do I leverage it? What's the gift? How do I leverage it?" When things feel like it's not working, we can focus on the not working or we can focus on the gift and how do I leverage it? What's the solution? Right? Yeah. daily alignment practices, Jocelyn. I hate doing things monotonously every day. Yeah, and it can just be 2 minutes though. It could just be what energy do I want to be in today? Right? What energy do I want to be in today? Because the truth is, we subconsciously are choosing the energy and the thoughts that we put on repeat anyway. So all that you're doing it anyways. All this is just bringing more intention to it. That's all it is saying, okay, what do I want to focus on today? What do I want to focus on today? Yeah. Focus on problems, not solutions. Let's see, what was the other one? Giving generously and leading with service is easy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the next piece of giving generously and leading with service is to not abandon our people on Pain Island because we're nervous about making an invitation, right? Because if we really want them to win, then the best way that they can win is to have your support. The best way that they can win is to have your support. The best way that they can get their transformation is by having the support and the accountability and your system and love to help them through that. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So you guys are actually, you can print these out, but you're also going to get an Empowered Leader Manifesto that you guys can use as well, that have some of these are similar and some of them are a little bit different, but the idea of them are the same. And I do recommend just have them someplace that you can look at as reminders, because the saying out of sight, out of mind really is true, right? So if we're not intentionally making these different choices and we don't have those reminders in front of us, then we're basically just going on the old subconscious programming that's already been installed, right? And it's the subconscious programming that's got us to where we are here. So if we don't like what we're seeing right now, then we do have to, switch that up, focus on something different, and change whatever belief system is creating what it is that we've got going on here. All right. I am going to share my screen again, and we are going to dive into the next piece, which is the obstacles, right? And this is the 8 common blocks to success. So these are when I took a look at where I got myself stuck and also where my clients get stuck. These are the 8 common blocks. And one of them is hiding and just playing small. Like we don't believe that there is something bigger available to us, right? Maybe we are nervous about, sharing anything on social media, right? So I just want you to ask yourself, do you feel that you're really reaching for more, or do you feel that you're playing small? And the way that might have looked like, and this is just one idea, is in the past week, have you said that you would share what you do on social media or make a post, but instead you got distracted by something else, right? Retweaking the website again, or making sure that something is just right, or rearranging the desk, right? Putting away the dishes, doing the laundry, right? All of that is when we are fearing being seen or taking a leap, we tend to hide and play small because there we have a fear of losing something, right? Obstacles are typically things that we fear of losing, right? We feel that we're losing our sense of love, our sense of safety, a sense of security, or a sense of belonging. Okay. So the way that fear of loss comes through is number one, hiding and playing small. Number one, staying in your comfort zone instead of going all in, right? So in the past month, have you seen someone you could help, but you didn't make the invitation to them to work with you? Instead, you're like, oh, they'll just reach out to me. You just waited for them to reach out to you. That's because you're in your comfort zone, right? It takes courage to step outside of your comfort zone. It takes courage to show up, right? And number 3, asking for permission, right? A lot of times we are asking for permission. We want somebody else to agree with us, tell us it's okay, right? Give us the permission. So just notice, have you doubted yourself or your pricing in the past 2 weeks? And maybe you've looked to others to give you permission to charge what you really want, right? And look, there's nothing wrong with having somebody's eyeballs, and give you results back, give you some feedback on it. But we want to be able to, again, take responsibility, and we don't want to have to ask for somebody else. Well, I don't know. Do you think that's a good price or not? Right? Because price is relative. Price is relative. Price is factored in on the value that somebody is going to get, right? And so you may have family members that you ask and they're like, no, I would never pay that. Well, guess what? That's not your ideal client. That's not your ideal client, right? People pleasing over our own needs and desires, right? This keeps us stuck in the sense of needing to belong. So just notice in the past month, have you put your own work on the back burner because someone else wanted your attention? It's another place that we kind of get stuck. We're like, yeah, I don't have time to work on my business. Or I'll do it later after so-and-so because so-and-so needs my help, right? And I'm not saying that we don't offer help. We do. But we want to have some really clear boundaries. We don't want to put our own business and life on hold, right? Just because we're afraid of losing some sense of love or security or safety or belonging. Number 5 was a big one for me. I'll tell you that. Waiting to see proof first before you commit, right? We grew up with a cultural entrainment that if we don't see it, we don't believe it, right? You got to see it to believe it. When actually the opposite happens. We have to believe it first. We have to believe that it's possible first in order for us to believe it. So just notice, have you in the past year wanted to have support, but you think that you've got to see the money first before you invest? Right? That was a big one for me. And I will say that I backed out twice with my very first business coach because of fear. Because I was afraid that I wasn't sure whether I was going to get a return on investment. I was afraid to make the investment because I didn't see the money right there. And this allows us to first say, I'm committed and I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to create it. Right? Number 6, waiting until tomorrow or believing that you don't have enough time. Right? In the past month, have you delayed making a decision to take action in your business, telling yourself you don't have enough time? Oh, I don't have enough time for that. The truth is, time is relative and time can be bent to our priorities. That's actually a writer downer. That should be a paradigm. Leaders believe that time is bent based on our priorities, right? Time is based on what we value. We spend our time based on what it is that we value. We also spend our money based on things that we value. So just notice, where are you spending your time? Where are you spending your time? Number 7, letting your circumstance decide for you. In the past year, have you been a heart yes for something, but you let your bank account, your partner, or an outside circumstance be the reason why you said no? Right? Sometimes we let other people make decisions for us. And so what we want to do first is make a decision that we're a heart yes for whatever it is, instead of letting whatever the circumstance or the person or the outside, whatever is going on, make that decision for us. And number 8, this is a big one, sitting on the fence and not making a decision. Anybody feel like they needed to make a decision about something and they just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off? Yes, right? It's like you're sitting on the fence and then you never make the decision. And here's the problem with that. That's actually making a decision to do nothing. It's making a decision to not take action. And when you're sitting on the fence and you're not making a decision, you've got no feedback. You've got no information. You're not going right. You're not going left. You're not coming. You have to come down off the fence first and make the decision so that you can choose to go one way or the other. Otherwise, you're just sitting there and nothing can change that way. Okay. So if you're not making a decision, if you're sitting on the fence about something, then this is your opportunity to just have courage and say, you know what, I'm going to make a decision, right? And whatever decision you make, you're going to ask yourself from your heart, is this a decision that I'm a heart yes for, or is this a decision that I'm a heart no for? And you get to make that decision, but you do need to make a decision, because otherwise when you're sitting on the fence, you're overthinking it, you're spinning, you go back and forth, yes, no, and again, you don't make any movement. So just notice, where do you feel that you're out of alignment, and where are you noticing any of these obstacles pop up for you? Because these are obstacles that will prevent you from having a 6-figure and beyond business. And there's no shame and there's no blame and there's no guilt because we all bump up against them. We have a human brain that wants to keep us safe. It wants to keep us safe in our comfort zone. It wants to conserve energy. It wants to make sure we have security and belonging. So we are going to bump up against them, but we have to be willing to bust through them, right? We have to be willing to take an action to bust through them. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. And that requires courage. And I want to play this video for you because this is one of my absolute favorite videos on courage. And I think that you guys will resonate with this one too. But this really is, anytime we make a decision about anything, it requires taking courage. So whether or not you're a yes or a no for joining me in Activate or something else, honestly, it takes courage to make that decision. And so I want you to know that being an empowered leader is about finding your courage, even when it feels shaky, even when it feels wonky. And I've got something to say about that shaky place too, by the way. One of the things that I remember, I used to do Pure Barre a couple years ago, and the muscles were created and were being built in the shake, right? It's like muscles don't grow by just staying in the comfort zone. Muscles grow when they are tested, right? And so sometimes we do things and make decisions and it feels shaky, and courage is about doing it even though it feels shaky. So let me share this with you.
I think that the people that are discovering how to unleash their greatness are people who have the mental resiliency and the courage to face failure, that you will fail your way to greatness. That most people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, when you make up your mind to become unstoppable, when you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now.
Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre, be normal, and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything he put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you neutralize your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to be exceptional. It takes courage to be wise. It takes courage to be rich. It takes courage to be educated. It takes courage to be knowledgeable. Because the moment you do, but you don't talk like, oh, you forgot where you came from. Look at you talking. It takes courage. And I'm just wondering, in this weak, watered down, mediocre society that we live in today, in this reality TV world we live in today, I'm wondering if there's anybody left that's got the courage to say, after all I've been through, and all my ancestors have been through, and all my parents have been through, I didn't come through all of that just to fit in with normalcy. The courage to go after my dream. It takes courage to get you outside of the box. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. People don't talk about people that don't win. If you win, they're going to talk about you. Do you have the courage to stand there till the storms keep raging and the people get to talking and you stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around? Do you have the courage?
Courage. It takes courage for all of us every single damn day to get up out of bed. It's going to take courage for you to build a business. It's going to take leaning in when you want to lean out. It's going to take reaching out for support when you want to go out the back door. And so this is just your invitation to lean in to your courage. You are here for a reason. You are a coach or a practitioner or a healer because of what God put in your heart, and you're here to serve others. Do you have the courage to lean in and to show up and to build your business and to do whatever it is that you need to do to actually serve the people that are looking for you? Courage is something that we all get to lean into. I don't care how much money you make, you are always leaning into courage, always. And whether you decide to work with me or not is totally fine. But I want you to take from these 5 days the courage to continue to lean into the dream that's been put on your heart to serve others in the way that you're here. You wouldn't be here still on day 5 if there is not something bigger for you to do out there in the world. Okay, so if you want my playbook, Activate Abundance is my playbook. And I'm inviting you to come join me on a call to explore joining me in Activate Abundance. And if you don't, that's totally fine too. But lean in and do not give up on your dream to be a healer, a coach, or the leader that you are here to be. Because there are people that are looking for you. Don't lose that courage. Do not give up. Do not go backwards. Do not keep looking in the backward mirror. No matter if it's scary, no matter if you've got doubts, we all have doubts. And the only difference between success and not success is leaning into the fear instead of going forward with courage. So if you haven't booked a call with me yet, book the call. I will be a stand for you. And I will help you make a decision that feels good for you. I will not force or convince or drag you across the finish line, I promise. But I will be somebody who is a stand for you and what it is that you want. And I will do the best of my ability to help you get that. So what is coming up for you guys? I would love to hear just something that you guys are taking away from our session today, whether it's about the empowered leader paradigms, whether it's about obstacle success, or courage. And I honestly, if you are at all wanting to claim your courage, type courage in the chat. If you're watching the replay, type courage in the chat. If you're here with me in Zoom, type courage in the chat. Courage, absolutely. We all have that within us. And I just want to invite you to lean into it. Lean into it. It's there. Sometimes we might lose sight of it, but it's still there. Absolutely, Tammy, courageous. Right. So what is something that you're taking away? I'm hoping that one of the things that you're taking away is a deeper belief in yourself. A deeper belief in yourself, a deeper belief in the purpose that you are here to do. But I would love to know what's popping up for you guys today. And Kate, thank you. I'm so glad that this is a call that has been helpful for you. Meryl.
So, yeah, I sort of stumbled across this, in like retirement career. And it's just because it was pointed out to me that people were coming to me and I was coaching. And so I did a formal training that ended in September and started coaching people for free right away. And now I have 3 paying clients. And it's like, it's happening. And the reason I think it's happening is because I just kept saying to myself, I'm going to put one foot in front of the other every single day and talk to people and coach.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I don't know if at this particular moment, this program is the program to be in for me, but I definitely will plan a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And, see what is available, what your thoughts are on, like tell you more about where I am and let me hear what your thoughts are on what could be useful for me right now.
Absolutely. And I think, there's several people in here that have conversations with me already that know that I am not a hard sell or a pushy, pushy anybody on it. I really will listen to you and hear what it is that you're looking for. And I'll be a stand for what it is you want. And I will be truthful. If I can't help you, I will tell you. And I will definitely guide you to, someplace else first. And if I can help you, of course, I will tell you that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. And
Yeah,
thank you
my
for
pleasure.
these 5 days. It's been
Yeah.
great.
Tomorrow, by the way, in case I forget, tomorrow will be an open Q&A call. So if you have any questions around anything that we covered, tomorrow is going to be a laser coaching session where if you have any questions about ideal client, signature system, offer suite, attracting clients, nurturing clients, making invitations, you can bring all of that. We're going to wrap it up together tomorrow in an open Q&A call.
And what time is that call?
That's at 12 o'clock, I believe. Oh God, now I forgot.
Yes,
It's either
yes,
12 or
it
1.
is. It's 9 o'clock here, so yes, it's 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Thank you, Eugene. Yeah.
Is that going to be recorded and available?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Who else? How does it feel to be courageous?
Cool. A little scary.
Yeah, it's okay. It can be scary, right? Anxiety is also excitement.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Cool. What else is coming up? Jocelyn, Melanie, Deirdre, Kate, Amber, Tammy, Sharon, Taylor, Sean. You can pop in the chat there if you want. What's popping up? What are you taking? Up, there you go. Courage is going forward in spite of fear. Amen. Amen, Sean. Yep, that's courage. Doesn't mean we don't feel fear. Just means it would go forward anyways.
I'll share. So I think what's there for me is like how humbled I am by like business mindset. And my partner has been saying this to me for a couple of years. And granted, he's not been as graceful as you have, but he's like, I just kind of blindly left my full-time job a couple of years ago and was like, I'm going to do this full time, and had a whole situation, that was like going to be the way that things were going to be. And that changed very quickly. And, it was kind of left like, oh, well, I guess I'm building my business and I'm going to do it on my own. And he's been beating the drum of like, well, you're not thinking like an entrepreneur. And I didn't really know what he was saying. Because I'm like a serial professional developmentist. And in fact, I lead personal and professional development work. But I can see that there, even in like subtle ways, that there are mindset shifts from being a 9 to 5 employee to being a business owner and an entrepreneur that I haven't really been responsible for dealing with. And I haven't been responsible for saying, I need to find something that's actually going to deal with this particular thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Great awareness for sure. It definitely, entrepreneurs, look, guys, we're built different. Our brains actually love lots of ideas. We can tend to go in multiple places, and we are really built differently, right? And so it does take a different way of thinking. And, if I was to share anything at all, it would be, I am so, so glad that I had support on my journey. So, so glad. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't invest in support. I wouldn't. And that is something that I feel so, so strongly about. And that is one of the reasons why, no matter where I am in my business, I will always invest in support and mentorship. Absolutely. Yeah. Courage is doing it before I'm ready. Yeah. Who else wants to share? It's so funny. Whenever I say that, everybody starts looking down, like, don't look at me, don't call on me.
I think one thing I've faced over my career is that on Facebook I have a lot of friends and acquaintances, but I also have family. And so I can feel myself get intimidated when I think of putting things on Facebook, because I'll hear definitely my kids will give me their ideas.
Right.
But what set with me was, it said, do you have the courage to work outwardly as you feel inwardly? And that really hit home with me. And that's what that brought up was, I have all this opportunity, but yet I let that fear of judgment, pull on me quite often.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And that's, our fear that keeps us with a sense of belonging, right? Because back in the day as ancestors, if we weren't part of the tribe or the community, we would die. Right. And so there is going to be a fear of rejection. There is going to be a fear of judgment out there for all of us, right? And courage is realizing that and doing it anyways. And it's so fascinating though. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you can look back on this too. Or we've been afraid to do something because we're afraid that somebody's going to judge us for it. And we do it. And instead of judging, they actually celebrate us. Right? We tend to create the future problems again that don't exist. Sister wound. Ah, yep. Yeah. And I love what Sean said. Hope creates opportunities. Absolutely. The energy of hope and courage and excitement and expectation and looking forward creates the opportunities and doorways to open for us. Yeah.
So yesterday, Chris challenged me to send out invites, just saying hello to people who had joined my group. And I did. And I've now got 3 people I'm in conversation with, one of whom I actually had a phone call with, who at the end of our phone call said, no, I'm putting my judgment in here, but who is not in the best place financially, but who says, I really do want to talk to you about working with you.
Amazing.
So I told her to book another call because I told her we don't talk about working together in this call. So she's going to book another call. So when we go to VIP, I'm going to talk to you about that.
Woo, girl.
So this is stepping way outside of my comfort zone. But it just in what we've done here, I have actually got somebody who is actually new to she came in to my group. I approached her, got into conversation. She has seen me in other groups commenting and talking but so just this is
amazing.
Out and listening.
It works. It's like a recipe, you guys. I'm telling you, right? If you want to bake a cake, you got to, put the ingredients together in the right order and bake it for the proper amount of time. This is the recipe. I'm giving you the playbook. I'm giving you the recipe on how to do this. And I'm doing it just right along with you too. I'm doing it right along with you too. Amazing. Congratulations. Way to be courage. Way to step into your courage and to make those, saying hello, even though your brain was probably like, yeah, this probably isn't going to make that much of a difference. And then here you go. Potential new client for you.
Are heading out to my YouTube channel and to things in my group to take a look at those.
Yeah. Amazing. So. Melanie, thank you so much for posting in here too. Yeah, stop listening to people who tell me what I plan to charge is too expensive. Yeah. I am more than happy to hop on a call with you and hear what it is that you would like to charge and give you, feedback on whether it's too expensive or not. We don't want to get information, especially with our business, from friends or family or from people that are not actually in this business. Let me just say that, right? There's a whole bunch of people that want to give you information. But if they're not in this business and they don't have a business like you do, they're not necessarily, true. So I'm so glad that you get to believe in yourself again, Melanie, and trust that absolutely it's more than likely I'm going to tell you need to raise your prices because that's typically what I end up doing 99% of the time is saying, raise them. That's too low. Are you kidding? That was back in 2015. Yeah. So I look forward to chatting with you and hearing about it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to pop off for today. Thank you for letting me going a little bit over. For those of you that want coaching tomorrow, live coaching, hot seat coaching on anything, I will be here for you tomorrow. We can even talk about pricing tomorrow, Melanie, if you want. Happy to support you. And I will make sure the replay will be up for today, and we will also do the replay tomorrow. So thank you for being here. And oh, Sharon, I'm so glad. Yay, yay, yay. You have a nice weekend too, my friend. And yes, again, if you haven't booked the call with me, go ahead and book the call. I don't have any appointments open this week, but I do have some on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll be more than happy to have a chat and support you. All right.